folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. Sitting down here in LaPlace, Louisiana. That's about 30 miles out of Nolens. Got to deliver over there, real close to Nolens. Warmed me up some dinner I'd brought up from the house. Made some dirty rice while I was home. It wasn't as good as I used to make, but I ain't made it in several years. Even the wife told me it wasn't as good as it used to be. I agreed with her. But it fed me for several meals so far. So it's edible. But anyhow, I got here. I was looking a little bit online. I came across one truck driver. He's been out here a year and a half. Yeah, that's how long I've been with this company. And he's talking about a couple other truck drivers that went on the lease with somebody. And I ain't mentioning names. Done been down that road and got a bunch of drama nonsense started. I ain't going there. But he's talking about these two drivers, and one of them I had words with on YouTube. And mostly because he's a hothead, he wouldn't listen to no advice. He already knew it all. And an old burnout man like me didn't have nothing to tell him. Okay? That was the polite way to put what he said about me. So this guy tonight's talking about how him and his buddy are losing their truck. They're behind on their payments, and this great company they was leasing on with, and blah de blah de blah. Now this 18-month veteran, he's trying to give advice to other new drivers. And he's trying to put it all on the company that these two boys leased on with. You know, if they're not making the miles or getting the right loads or whatever it is causing them to be behind on their payments and losing their trucks, it's got to be the company's fault. Not necessarily, folks. You can watch some of my videos. I've tried telling you. You have fixed cost and you have flexible cost. Your fixed cost is going to come due every month, regardless how many miles you run. Your truck payment, your truck insurance, different stuff like this. Your flexible is going to be your fuel cost, your maintenance, your upkeep, your breakdowns, your taxes, your road taxes. And because a couple of rookies bombed out, that ain't necessarily the company's fault. Now, I'm not saying that it isn't the company's fault, but you cannot automatically assume that it's the company's fault. I've seen too many people get out here and they get to trucking and they made $2,500 this week, or they made $4,000 this week, and instead of putting that money back, they become rich for a day. And they buy more toys for the truck. They buy more chrome for the truck. They buy some bling bling for themselves. They put that money everywhere except where it needs to go. That right there is usually the biggest reason for lease owner operators or owner operators to fail. They make bad judgment calls and where to put their money. Now, it's real easy to use that company as a scapegoat. But now, did they really cause you to go under? Did they cause you to be late on your payment? Was you wasting the money that you did make? Was you running your tail off? Was you taking weekends off everywhere? Was you going to play? What were you doing? And if you're getting behind on your notes, and I know he said that the one of them had a breakdown. Well, that's number one rule right there, is I've told y'all before you even think about getting a truck, you need to have at least a minimum of $10,000 in the bank. And that ain't $10,000 to operate on. That's $10,000 for repair, for a major breakdown. When these trucks break down, when they say big trucks, big bucks, they're not talking about big bucks in your pocket. They're talking about the truck making big bucks to pay to everybody but you. So if he had a major breakdown, then he didn't have his, and that's what caused him to fail, and I don't know. Don't really care. The guy was very rude and belligerent to me. I really don't care. I've foreseen him failing because of his attitude. But he didn't have the $10,000 in the bank to cover his truck note for the month, or insurance, or the truck repair. Nope, hold on a minute. Yeah, that was Mama. We was cussing and discussing and flipping and flopping and doing that husband and wife talk stuff. Actually, we was talking about trying to get more of a variety in our diet. With the way we've been doing it, we both wind up eating basically the same two dishes all week, rotating. And that's getting kind of old. We were discussing that. Other stuff on expenses out here and how to keep them down and how to keep me fed. We'll see how that all works out. But anyway, the long and short to that deal about those old boys going under is, it's real easy to assume that you can do the owner-operator thing or the lease thing, and if the only guidance that you are getting is from companies that want you to lease or buy a truck from them, you're not going to get the true story. You have to do your own homework. You have to sit down, and the best thing to do is talk to a few owner-operators. If you approach them right, they should help educate you a little bit. And no one of them is going to tell you everything you need to know. So it needs to be a long, drawn-out process on you talking to different owner-operators. The biggest thing that I have stressed to everybody that's looking to get a truck is that it's real easy to get a truck. It's too damn easy to get a truck. That's why we have so many people failing, is they make it real easy to get a truck. And everybody runs out and gets a truck. What are you going to do with it? You know? You need to figure out first, you need to figure out first what you're going to do with the truck. Who are you going to lease it on with? What does that pay? And this guy kept talking about they was paying 88%. And he acted like that wasn't much. 88% is a pretty good chunk. 88% to the truck, that's a pretty good amount. What really matters though, 88% of what? 88% of nothing is still nothing. 88% of $1 is still 88 cents a mile. If you're getting $1 a mile. that ain't enough to operate a truck nowadays. You'll go broke. Ask those boys. When you're talking to a company, you need to find out where you getting your freight from. Now, if they're like this company I'm with, which they won't take on lease-ons, they won't sell you a truck, none of that. Now, they will broker you some freight if you have your own truck, authorities and stuff. They'll let you haul some of our loads. But he won't take on owner-operators or leasees. He's had bad experience with them. That's not an option here. But you need to ask them where you get your freight. Is it like here where they have dedicated customers? We have like 3 customers that I know of. We had 4, but one of the big companies came in and undercut us on it, which was fine. No, I'm lying. We got rid of our reefer trailers. That's why we quit hauling their stuff. We had a couple that did try to come in and underbid us on this other stuff, but luckily the good old boy thing, and they're saying, no, this man's been doing good for a long time. We don't need your mega company trucks in here and mess it all up. But find out where they're getting their freight from. If all they're doing is working the boards, you can do that. Seriously. Get your own truck, trailer, insurance, freight insurance, get your full authorities, and get your laptop. And there's plenty of load boards out there. The internet's really changed a lot of trucking. So if all they're doing is scanning around trying to find a load, you can do that. Get you one. You might have to pay for the service. That's fine. But let's say you're going to St. Louis and you know you're going to be in St. Louis in 3 days. You go into their site and onto that board and you tell them, all right, I'm going to be in, and you have punch it in. It ain't like you're literally telling someone. You're telling them, y'all know how to operate a damn computer and a website. You put in there that you're going to be there Friday and you expect to be empty at noon and you want to load, and that's where you start setting up your perimeters. You want a load that picks up within 100 miles. 100 miles ain't bad. That's a short deadhead, especially if you had to drive 3 days to get there. And you want it to go Phoenix. So you set them perimeters. You want 100 miles of downtown St. Louis or wherever, whatever address you put in. You want to pick up a load within that area on Friday or Saturday, and you want it to go towards Phoenix. And you can make them perimeters as tight or lenient as you want. And then a lot of them, you can have it set up where it will, whenever it has a hit, it will put it over on your phone. So now you get the message on your phone, you can look at it, and if you want it, you call them, talk to them, or hit the accept, or whatever. You can do that without paying them 10 or 15 or 20%. Why pay them to search the internet as easy as it is today? Now, if they have dedicated freight, that's a whole different ballgame. Now, along with that, you need to learn what we used to do back in the day. Back in the day, we had a notebook. I've still got one back there. They're right in my pocket. We all had them. We all actually carried ink pens, too. And you would get to know some of these brokers and broker companies. And if you live in St. Louis and you like going to Phoenix, you wind up trying to find you a decent broker that you can get along with and trust out of both areas. So now, and you can get that off that board. Then you can let that board go if you've been paying for it. But now you call up Jim Bob over here in St. Louis. Jim Bob, I'm going to be in town Friday. I'd like to get something out Monday. What you got? And Jim Bob will find you something for Monday, and he already knows, or he'll ask, you want to go back to Phoenix, I assume. Well, I've got this going so close. Are you interested? It pays this. And you take it. Now you call Billy Bob out in Phoenix. Hey, Billy Bob, I'm loading out Monday, coming your way. I'm going to be out there Thursday. I'll be empty Thursday morning. What you got coming back towards St. Louis? So you set up a rapport. You set up a network. That's how you get making money in trucking. And eventually, as you're going to some of these other companies, you find yourself going over here to Carol Sue's refinery, and you find yourself going in there quite often. Talk to Carol Sue. Hey, I'm in here quite often. You need a dedicated truck? Now you can cut out a broker. They get offensive about that. They say it's unethical, but they do it all the time. When I was doing the hotshot thing, I had a company up just north of Kansas City, Missouri, that makes cabs for trains, for the work trains. You know, that goes around, repairs the tracks and whatever all they do. But that's all they make. I hauled 2 loads out of there, and they was talking to me because they knew I was the owner-operator. They was talking to me, wanting me to haul dedicated freight and cut out the brokers and cut out the nonsense where you just call me and tell me when you're coming in. You live in Texas? We got a lot of this stuff going to Texas. And if my truck hadn't blew up on me, I would have went. And no, I didn't have the $10,000 in the bank to fix the truck. So I had a good enough bankroll, and I did fix the truck actually, but I still didn't have the $10,000 in the bank that I tell you need to have. I had enough, got the truck fixed, but by then I was offered a different job to get back into boat hauling, and I sure like my boat hauling. So I got out of that one, back to my boat hauling. But there's a lot more to being an owner-operator or a lease operator than a lot of these boys want to let on. You cannot blame the company that you're leased on with. Now, if you bought a truck and leased it on over there and you're not making the money, you should know before you're in the position of losing your truck. If you're up on top of your bookwork, time to pull the truck, go somewhere else. And you need to already be looking at where to go with it. If you're a lease operator and you cannot remove that truck from that company and you're not making the payments, time to break the lease. You know? So you can't blame the company for you failing most of the time. You failing was you not educating yourself and not setting yourself up right for the job. That'd be just like if you go to start a woodworking shop and you buy your property with the building and you got your tools and you got all your supplies and stuff, and you didn't set up an outlet for the stuff you're making. Well, I make all this shit, where'd I go with it? So now you're going to blame the supplier because you're not selling your stuff. It makes about as much sense to me. So if you're thinking about being owner-operator, lease operator, need to think hard. I've got several videos on here about it. You need to watch them. They're not going to tell you everything that you need to know, but they'll tell you enough on what you need to start checking out, which should lead to other stuff. So that's the short and skinny on it. Y'all remember, God loves you, so do I. Don't just jump headlong into being an owner-operator. Too many of these young ones come out, and that one that's going under, he point blank told me, y'all just didn't know what you were doing. We've got it figured out. He literally told me that. We've got it figured out. This new generation of truckers, we've got it figured out. Y'all didn't know what you was doing. Gotcha. That's why I'm still driving after all these years, and you're a 2-year wannabe. Y'all have a blessed day now. Good night.